Hey everybody, welcome to this micro lecture on Chapter 11, which is an overview of marketing processes and consumer behavior. It's sort of the overarching material that sets up the next two chapters that you're going to read this week. So let's go through this one. I actually add a fair amount of material in my lectures on this, so this one's going to take a little longer than the other ones have. But it's because I feel strongly that there's a lot of things that we need to talk about in regards to marketing that don't really get covered as well in the text. So the learning objectives for this chapter are explain the marketing, the concept of marketing, identify the 5 forces that constitute the external marketing environment, explain the purpose of marketing plan, and identify its main components, something you're going to actually work on in your assignment this week. I want you to explain marketing segmentation and how it's used in target marketing. Discuss the purpose of marketing research and compare the methods of marketing research. There's a lot more, by the way, that are listed here, but again, this is a general business class, so they're trying to give you an overview. Describe the consumer buying process and the key factors that influence that process. Should look familiar to you. All of us are consumers, so we probably go through something similar to this every time we buy things. Discuss the 4 categories of organizational markets and the characteristics of B2B marketing. If you're selling directly to the consumer, it's called B2C. If you're selling to other businesses, it's called B2B. That's what those little sayings are for. Discuss the marketing mix as it applies to small business. Every business has to have some kind of a marketing plan. Okay. So here's you get the textbook definition of what marketing is. It's going to talk about the 4 P's and defining those things. But, and again, I have a lot of experience in marketing, so I would say I kind of concentrate on certain things that I think that are important. What is marketing? Marketing, first and foremost, is knowing exactly who your target customer is, who is this potential buyer and user. You do everything you can to identify them as best you can. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the lecture. Where they are, what do they want and need, and when, and how do you fulfill what they want and need now. So all those things come into play when you talk about what marketing is. Marketing is a relatively new discipline. Basically, when we talked about demand before that, we talked about the economics view of it and the supply and demand, which we covered in chapter 1. Give you a rough idea how price relates to that and supply. Back in the early 1900s, mass advertising started to emerge, primarily in print media like newspapers and things like that. And it evolved over time. You went through as radio came along. Radio became an important part of it. In the 1950s, consumer behavior became a real science. And again, that's, as I said, with management, it's also true with marketing. It kind of rides on the coattails of some of the research being done in social sciences like psychology, for example. Marketing has grown with technology quite a bit. So we went from print to broadcast to the internet. So, and it's shifting quickly and very dynamically at this point. So it creates a good opportunity, and for all of you that are thinking about going into marketing as a career, it creates an outstanding opportunity for you because you're going to learn about things that the people who are established in marketing today probably don't know that much about, and they're going to need you. So that's always a good place to be. In the organization, if you're a manufacturing organization, it varies quite a bit, but it might be kind of a sales support function. But it's also could be something called product management. There's some videos that I put out there. It's a very common, product manager is a very common marketing role within the manufacturing organization. In service organizations, it might be part of customer service. In a retail organization, it might be part of store operations. So it depends tremendously where marketing happens in every firm, in every organization. But it's not done exactly the same way everywhere. Okay, so I have a few questions I like to pose to my students, and I don't expect you to answer these, but I want you to think about them. Is marketing the same as sales? And when we think about sales, we think about direct selling effort. People that are actually salespeople who work for an organization and a sales organization within the organization. So the answer is no. Sales is a very specific part of getting the product sold. But marketing is taking a much more overarching view. And again, really concentrating on understanding who the customer is. Is marketing the same as advertising? And the answer to that is no, it's not. Advertising is part of marketing. Marketing is much broader than what advertising is, okay? And is what is marketing directly responsible to on the income statement? Quite often, the marketing function within the company comes up with the overall demand for the company, actually predicts what it's going to be, maybe even gross profit. It's certainly controlling for most companies, a pretty large expense, their marketing expenses. So it touches a lot of different points, but it all depends on what the role is, how it's being fulfilled in that organization. So typical marketing measurements are sales and gross profit, return on marketing expense. So if I spend $1, how many new customers do I get from it, as an example? For large corporations, they tend to think of market share, the percentage of the target market that they are selling to. The number of customers they have could be a measure. So it varies quite a bit. And again, it depends very much on what's important to the organization. And so if you're interested in it, here's some roles that are out there. I mean, these are real roles, and if you did a Google search on them, you would find jobs under them. Product manager, advertising manager, promotions manager, content development manager for the digital side of things, social media, same thing, market segment manager, marketing channel manager, forecasting, and analyst. Every one of those roles are real marketing roles, and if you're interested in any of them, you want to train for them. By the way, if you are interested in any of them and you want to talk to me about it, and because I've been around for so long, I know a lot about all these things. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to help out my students kind of come to terms with what all these things are. Okay? So, and as marketing has evolved over time, again, it started off in a support role, but as it's grown, now marketing is taking a place in the C-suite, which is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CFO, Chief Financial Officer. There's a lot of chiefs, for different functions within the organization, but quite often there's a CMO, which is a Chief Marketing Officer, and they're typically, of that C-suite, they're one of the key leaders of strategy. So, not surprisingly, the CMO and the CEO work closely together. Value is a really important concept. I think I brought it up at the very beginning of class. Marketers love putting things into mathematical terms, which really don't make a lot of sense. So these are words, so they don't mean anything. But value that a consumer gets out of a product is equal to the benefits they derive from that product divided by the cost. And obviously, we want to have as high a value as possible with our offer. Okay. And there's lots of ways that people can deliver value. They can develop new products that perform better. They can, if they're a retailer, they can have stores open longer. They can offer pricing reductions. There's a lot of different things that you can do that drive the value. Okay. But what happened a few years ago, Amazon, our favorite online retailer, bought Whole Foods, a grocery store chain. Why do you think they did that? And it had to do with the logistics advancements that Amazon were doing. So, because they said people could order online and pick it up at Whole Foods and, be in a good position to compete with an added advantage of the convenience of ordering it online. I know that's common now, but that's why Amazon did that a few years ago, and they really advanced that whole area of building things up. Okay, so a really important part, as I've mentioned before, is the relationship with the customer. Again, this is not necessarily only the purview of marketing, but marketing has a very much an interest in it. So customer relationship management, or CRM, is a very important part, and most organizations realize the importance of it and have a whole function built around this. So I asked the question, where would you feel like, if you look at these two pictures, which one do you think you're going to get more personal service from? The local diner or McDonald's, the local McDonald's? When you go to the local diner, I love going to local diners, by the way, especially when I'm traveling, because you listen to people talking, you learn all about the place that you're at the time. It's a kind of it's a very different level of relationship. And McDonald's is very impersonal, right? You get your stuff, you get your sack of food, you give your money, and you get the heck out of there. So it's really, really different. So customer relationship marketing is a really, really important part of it, of marketing and how marketing is done. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to move forward on a couple of things here. As we talked about strategy before, the marketing mix is a very important part of strategy, and it's a combination of product, pricing, promotion, and place. are the strategies used to market the products that you have. And that really defines your business in so many ways. So the marketing plan is the way to execute that. You're going to build one of those with your marketing plan for Me Inc. The components that go into it are some of the overall mission, the marketing objectives, all those things build into the marketing plan, and it breaks all the way down to within your target market, what's your product, price, place, and promotion mix for each one of them. And this whole thing has changed quite a bit since I started my career. They were very long involved things. Now they're very, very lean. Some marketing plans are meant to be read in 10 minutes, and that's, I've written ones that probably took an hour and a half to read. So it's changing quite a bit. Okay. So these are all really, really important parts of your marketing plan to clearly describe who your customer will be, what characteristics they have, and always clearly and succinctly describe why they will be interested in your offer. And don't fall in love with it. That's true of any plan. Key to great management is your ability to react to changes that force changes in your mix. Okay. I'm going to skip forward and say we are really pretty much done. Yeah, I try to get these things done in a pretty short period of time. So here's some of the few changes that I've seen that are coming along in marketing. Technology has been changing it dramatically. The mass collection of data, we talk about big data. There's some things in the module that will help you understand that. Very complex analysis is being done. The emergence of AI is also influencing on how marketing is being done. The emergence of CRM and AI, the combination of the two, is absolutely changing it. And the last thing I'd say about it is, since the digital age of e-commerce, the customer holds a lot of sway, a lot of power in this. Online influence is huge in social media and in reviews, and it's very painless to do comparison shopping. So the customer's never been in a more powerful position than where they are today, and marketers need to react to that. Okay, so that's the overview of marketing, and you're going to learn a little bit more about it in the next 2 chapters. If you have any questions, absolutely let me know. If you want to talk about any of these things in more detail, I'll be happy to do that as well. Send me an email, and we'll meet up in Google Meets or something like that. Okay, all right. Best of luck, and I hope you enjoy it.